Make It, the indie film podcast. Hello, Make It friends and family. Chris here to announce that starting today, with the episode you're about to hear, we'll be publishing our segments and bonus content on this feed daily. Why are we doing this? Because there's a good chance you're already listening to our episodes over the span of the week. We decided to publish our segments from each long-form episode to make it easier for you to enjoy the entire thing. Also, Nick and I are always looking for new ways to spice things up, meet our audience in the middle, and improve the show for you. So, there you have it. Daily goodness and segments and bonus content from Make It. Of course, we'll still be releasing long-form episodes every 2 weeks on Friday. That hasn't changed. So, thanks as always for your support, and be sure to let us know what you think. And now, on to the show. Are we ready for a little story is king with the one and only Michael Mendelsohn?
Oh yeah, man. I'm ready for this. I'm ready for this.
All right. So I just want to give this audience before I ask you what you're working on now, what we should know you for, I want to give just a little bit of hint to the audience. So Michael has been the producer, executive producer, financier behind movies like Lord of War, Air Force One, The Hurricane, The Matrix, What Women Want, one of me and Nick's favorite movies of all time, True Romance, and of course, Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. This is going to be an incredible conversation. So Michael, with that being said, what else should we know you for, and what are you working on now?
Well, my biggest prize right now is training a whole new batch of youngsters in filmmaking. You know,
yes,
they come in all shapes and sizes, and I'm focused on the future, and I'm trying to teach them the combination of creative script development, attaching a director, attaching cast, and then how to sell the movie, how to finance the movie, and how to distribute the movie so you make your money back. And so that's a lot for a person to learn, and it takes a couple of years. And so that's my number one prize, is the future. And we recently did James McAvoy, the great actor behind Last King of Scotland and First
Love
Class and The Marble. He directed this movie, California Scheming, and he's got two young stars that play Scottish rappers who are trying to make it in London, and nobody can understand their Scottish accent, so they fake being from LA.
Yeah.
In London, and I guess nobody in London understands which California accent it is. And so they become stars until one of their serious girlfriends says she's hitting the road if they don't start getting real.
Yeah.
And so
every
that was at the Toronto Film Festival recently. Yeah. And so James did great. He's in the movie too.
Okay.
And the other movie that we just finished, which is coming up, is Dreamquill, directed by Alex Prager. And Dreamquill we did with Paramount. And, Paramount's been purchased. Yep. And it's a sci-fi robot movie when your wife needs to go on vacation. She orders up a robot that looks like her to take care of her husband and kid. And what happens if the robot falls in love with the husband and the kid, and they want the robot more than they want the real thing?
Dystopian.
And I think that's just around the corner.
Yes, me too, Michael.
Yeah,
and, you know, I was asking this question the other day in a group chat, Michael. I cannot believe this is the theme of this movie. I was asking the question, you know, what happens if you're having an affair with let's say your robot maid, and you're a straight man. Let's say you're a straight man, or you could switch it to a straight woman. You're having an affair with your robot handler, maid, it's a male robot, and you find out that it's being remotely controlled by a man, right? So, are you in love with the man that's controlling the robot remotely?
Little Cyrano de Bergerac situation going on.
Yeah. That's right around the corner, right? Like you thought you were in this relationship one-on-one with this robot who, and the key to this too, and this probably is played out in Dreamquill, is that the robot has less agency than you, even though it might be more capable than you. Like it might be an AI, right? That's really smart, but it may not have more agency than you. And that's what makes the affair somewhat possible in a way. And then you find out, someone with more agency than you is controlling the robot from afar. Fascinating. Anyway, all that stuff is relevant and around the corner, Michael. So thank you.
All I got to say from Princess Bride, death cannot defy love.
Yes.
And love is love.
Yes.
And,
wait. Are you saying?
And I can't
love?
I can't tell you how to get it.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how to get it, but I know who is getting it.
Yeah. Michael, you don't understand. The Princess Bride is well documented as my favorite movie of all time. I have William Goldman book right in front of me, Michael. I have a vial of iocane powder to my left off camera that you can't see. I also have a signed screenplay of Princess Bride hidden away. I'm not going to tell these viewers where. Hidden away in this studio. So yes, you named the right movie right there. Thank you.
He did, man. He did. It's perfect.
That's incredible. What do you think about the acquisition? Well, I have it. You brought it up. What do you think about Paramount and some of these acquisitions that are happening in industry right now? Are they good or bad for us?
I think the Paramount acquisition is good. I think the attempt to go after Warner Brother may remove one vendor, player, buyer. So that concerns all of us that make movies. We want the most amount of people buying, not the least. But I do understand Ellison's quest for billion-dollar franchises. So while he has Top Gun and Mission Impossible over there, he wouldn't mind Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman as additional billion-dollar franchises. So, that's the thing about movies today. We have been making all the movies that the studios didn't want to make and then became a hit. Warner didn't necessarily want to make Matrix, and Sony didn't really want to take the risk on Air Force One, and What Women Want, they didn't want to take the risk on Mel not carrying a gun, but, carrying a hairdryer. So these are things that when they don't want to take the full risk, they say, get Mike on the phone. He'll do it. He eats it. He'll eat anything. and to be honest,
to Mikey with the Life cereal,
the success of that, but the success of those movies is a lot of times based on the passion and the uniqueness of those filmmakers and their product and their films, which we call cinema. We don't call them franchises. We don't call them mega hits. We don't call them 3, 4, 5. We call it cinema. And those of us that stood outside, like in Reservoir Dogs. I was standing out there with Lawrence Bender and Quentin Tarantino, and we could tell you in the cold that we're waiting in front of the theater, the Egyptian theater, we could tell you where they got to the part where the ear gets cut off, because 7 or 8 people would come out of the theater and they couldn't take it, right?
Couldn't take it. Yeah.
That's cinema, not franchise. And then when we go on to Pulp Fiction, and Miramax put up half, and we put up on Pulp Fiction, they said, well, the script's too long. He starts in the middle of the movie. Well, he is a true auteur. Quentin Tarantino is awesome.
Yeah.
And, I've enjoyed his movies since we did Reservoir Dogs in the 90s.
Yeah.
In the 90s.
He's an all-timer.
Him and his producer had called me up when they came into the bank and said, what should we wear to the bank? And now I call them up and ask them what I should wear.
Full circle.
Full circle indeed, Nick.
Full circle.
That's right. Now, just to, not to freak you out, Michael, but, we spend a lot of time researching each person that joins us on this podcast. And it's kind of been our calling card for many, many years. We were doing this before Sean Evans at Hot Ones was doing this. So, I think he took our model, Nick. Anyway, it is what it is.
Up for debate.
So that being said, so we know a lot about how you got into the business, and so we don't want to belabor all that stuff. But I am curious, was there a moment that you knew you would spend the rest of your life in film and television? And do you remember that moment?
Yeah, I was asked by Johnny Carson, who was a late night show host before Jay Leno, before Jimmy Kimmel, and you guys weren't born at the time.
I watched Johnny.
I
watched Johnny.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love Johnny Carson.
I was the mail boy at the Bushkin, Copelson, Games and Gaines law firm where Johnny was represented. And they needed somebody. His car broke down. They needed somebody to give him a ride. So I got into my Chevy Chevelle Super Sport with a 440 engine, 4-barrel Holley carburetor, and picked him up and took him to the studio. And he asked me, did I mind if he went through some of the jokes with me? And so I said, I don't mind, but just letting you know, I'm not a funny guy, Mr. Carson, like you. And so he goes through about 40 jokes, and I said, well, these are the only 3 I really respond to, Mr. Carson. Oh. Well, most people fake laugh. Yeah. There's nothing fake here. So.
There's a lot of pressure to fake laugh.
And then he requested me, but he said, let's try those 3, and I'm going to try 3 that I like, and let's see how it does. And that was the start of a relationship. And then he asked me, could I make a Christmas movie can I make a movie for the Christmas party, the Carson Christmas party? I was 17. He had heard I had an idea, and I ended up cutting something together with his editor, and that turns out to be a selection of all the mistakes Johnny made. He stumbled, the monkey scratched him, a wardrobe misfunction, and so that was the start of bloops and blunders. And I thought I was going to get fired for stringing together all his mistakes. But I ended up getting a raise from $4 an hour to $5 an hour.
There you go.
Well done. Well done.
Right.
Yep, he's on a roll now.
That's it, man. I love it.
Well, and remember, guys, it's not just about bloopers and blunders, because that's what you think about especially when you're a kid,
Yeah.
it's like these are mistakes. No, what mistakes do is they humanize people.
Yes.
And that's what people love. It's like, oh my gosh, this guy that's bigger than life is just like me. And I love it.
Yeah.
And I love it. So that was well played, good sir.
My favorite thing Carson did, Nick, is it would be in his guest chair and they would say something really, really funny. The crowd would respond, roaring laughter, and Carson would smoke. He'd smoke. So he'd have a cigarette there, and he would just, in this coy, wry, perfectly sort of toned smile, just turn to the audience and say, this is, it wasn't that funny. It's what he's saying with his face, not saying it with words. Wasn't that funny, A, and B, this is what you get when you watch my show. Best of entertainment. Top entertainment. It's very classy the way he did it, Even his laughter wasn't this boisterous laugh. Yes, go ahead, Michael.
The interesting thing we also learned is there was a study done on his show, and they found that people who watched his show before they went to bed had a psychological improvement in their life.
Really? That's amazing.
It was true for me.
And I think Naked Podcast, I think that is going to also have that effect on its viewers.
Well, we haven't done the study yet, but we think we think that's probably true as well, right? Because one thing we don't do, Nick and Papa Bear, is we don't ever sort of lead with the outrageous and the things that bleed and things that make you sad and worried and scared. We try to bring a little light, and I don't mean lightness, but I mean light, a little lux to your life, if you will. Every time we do a show, right? We want to talk about, like you said at the beginning, Michael, we want to talk about the future. We want to talk about what's possible. We don't want to talk about what you can't do too much, right? And we want to be real, but we also keep it light.
Listen, Chris, and like Michael said, he did say it, that when we whisper, or even we whisper in the dark corners of the filmmaking world, or we shout when we're out at a party or a club and we say that we are the hosts of the Make It podcast, people do get excited because they think we're saying
the naked
podcast. So yeah, we do try our best to create excitement in any way we can.
This reminds me of our college friend Nimit, and when he would go to the club, he'd walk up to a girl and say, "Hi, my name's Nimit," or he'd be yelling it, and they'd be like, "Emmett." Yeah, he would never get his name. No one would ever get his name right in a club. It was impossible. And they don't get the name of this right in a club either. It's going to be naked every single time. But it is actually the Make It podcast. Michael, now, from your experience with Carson going forward, that inspired you to get involved in the industry. What would you say was your biggest challenge? Or maybe your most challenging experience so far in the film industry, and how'd you overcome it?
One of the biggest challenges is, at the time in the 80s, it was a very nepotistic business. So it was guys and their fathers and their brothers and their children and their grandchildren,
Yep.
And so, my father was a cabinet maker. He was a concentration camp survivor, right?
Yep.
And my mom was in import-export. Her family had to escape Georgia, Russia, because they were killing the Old Testament people. And she ran to Istanbul, Turkey, where she was born. And so, that was not a film family,
right,
per se. And so breaking in is sometimes very hard for people that may come from areas of the country that aren't known necessarily for film. Like Nashville is a better place to break in for music, country music or R&B, but it's more difficult to break in from Nashville from in LA. And so now you have brilliant podcast hosts and producers like yourselves to tell people about it. But we didn't have podcasts back then. We didn't have internet back then. We didn't have any way to communicate the way we are now. And so it was very difficult for people to break into the business. And you had to be willing to sleep on somebody's couch or in the car or in the back of a nightclub until you made it.
Yeah.
And so to make it, and you can see in the Bible, it says, you shall acquire great wisdom. But, most people don't read to the end of the paragraph where it says, and you shall suffer.
Right. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep.
So everybody's a writer, a director, a producer, an actress. So everybody's trying to make it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they usually fake it till they make it, right?
Yep.
But, you can't fake it. You got to do it.
Yep.
You got to put the time in like you guys have put in on your podcast. How many years has this podcast been going on?
So we just passed year 7.
You got
for
it.
this show, and we've been making indie films now for 11 years.
Number 7.
Yeah.
So that you got the 7-year itch. That's why you called me.
That's right. That's right. And 7-11.
I get it.
So we're open all the time.
I get it.
That's so far you have given us so many fascinating and interesting nuggets by yourself. I have to ask this question. Sometimes I don't ask it, guys. I'm going to ask it this time. Can you describe your household growing up in 3 words? Very curious what those 3 words would be.
Son of immigrants is 1 word.
I'm going to write that all together really tight. Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
A poor kid that didn't want to be poor anymore.
Mm-hmm. So it's poor. Mm-hmm.
And I would say there's no amount of hard work I wouldn't do to accomplish the goals.
Hard work was a value.
Hard work.
Yep. Hard work.
Yeah, and Chris, I got to jump in on this one real quick.
Please.
I think it's really cool that Michael said the first thing, son of immigrants, because I'm always fascinated by names, and you guys have heard me say that I live my namesake being Nicholas.
I live mine as well, being
Nicholas,
Christopher. It means Christ.
There you go. And Nicholas being victory of the people. And one of the things that you should know about the name Mendelsohn is that it's actually of a Jewish origin that means son of Mendel.
Son of Mendel, yes.
And Mendel is the diminutive of the Hebrew name Menachem. And Menachem means comforter or one who consoles. So it's really interesting that, Michael, you started out with son of immigrants. You are the son of the comforter.
Yeah, there you go.
Which is very interesting as well. So yeah, it's beautiful when we kind of get back to our namesake. Like, who are we?
Yes.
Right? What defines us at our core?
Yeah. Well,
so that's great.
Well done, Nick. Very good. Thought it was very, very nice. Let's end this segment.
Can we talk Bible?
We can talk Bible if you want to talk Bible.
Hit me with it, man. Hit me with your best shot, as they say,
Michael.
right?
You say whatever you want to say on here.
I think, this is what I think.
Okay.
That there's volume 1 and volume 2.
Mm-hmm.
And as times were during volume 1, that book was written for times like that.
Mm-hmm.
And as the world progressed and digressed and progressed again, we needed an updated philosophy of life. And so we got volume 2.
Yes.
And I think there's too much time being spent, too much time of which one are you, volume 1 and volume 2. And I think you need both. And so there's no separation between those volumes if you really know where Jesus came from and what he said on the Temple Mount, which I think is one of the greatest speeches of all time, and philosophies about life.
Well, Michael, I would offer that it may be time for a volume 3.
Yep.
And what that looks like, I think, has yet to be determined, has yet to be written. But I love that approach. I love that the way you think about that. I think that's spot on. But I'm curious as to what volume 3 will look like to get us through the times that we're in and the times that are to come. And since volume 3 hasn't been written, then we have to look to volumes 1 and 2 to make a determination as to how we as individuals write the story of the future.
Yep.
So I definitely appreciate that perspective.
I do have a inkling of what volume 3 could be.
Okay. Very interested.
If you analyze the judo, and we have a movie on this, by the way, but if you analyze the Judeo-Christian faith, volume 1 and volume 2, that's 5,000 years of history.
Mm-hmm.
But if you start looking at the pyramids or the Sphinx or temples in India or pyramids in South America, you start realizing that those are 15 to 25,000 years old. And so the question is, was that created from scratch, or was it aliens and alien life forms that entered the atmosphere of Earth and created things that led to the life we know as it is now?
You know, it's quite
Because
possible.
I don't think it started 5,000 years ago.
Yeah. I think we've got that just through carbon testing. We know that. There's a documentary that is either out or coming out called Age of Disclosure that I'm very interested in seeing, that talks about this very thing. And I spend a lot of time in Mexico, and I have seen a lot of things that are older than the Bible. And I've just seen it with my own eyes. And they have new LiDAR technology. And Nick, you probably know about this. I know Papa Bear does. That can see into the ground. And so these things are much deeper than they originally thought. They see the thing that's protruding out of the ground, and they say, oh, they had a little temple here, or they had a little pyramid here. And it turns out the thing is gigantic. It keeps going down. It was like we're looking at the top of buildings, basically, and not understanding that there were whole cities underneath, and now the LiDAR technology can show that. But it's very, very interesting, and it's a nice aside. We'll end the segment on this, Michael. What is a piece of advice you live by?
I think that every person is valuable in one way or another. And I think in this age of watching the president and the king of Saudi Arabia and all the billionaire titans, we sometimes forget that you don't have to be a billionaire to contribute to society and make it worthwhile. And you don't always have to take, you can give. And sometimes the giving part creates so much positive energy that it benefits the person as an overall human being, which sets you up for success, however you define it. And I think that I had a pastor that said, look to the left of you and look to the right of you.
Yeah.
If you think you're a better person than the left or the right, because you maybe know the Bible more, or you made more money, or you made that, then you need to repent, because it doesn't, in the other dimensions of life, it doesn't work that way. And we're living in this dimension, but we don't know what's in the other side of this.
Yeah, it's true. And anybody that's been a billionaire that isn't a Nepo baby, and even if they were a Nepo baby, their wealth started with someone giving to them. One must be given something to then operate with it and then make something for themselves. And so it's almost an obligation to continue the giving and continue the cycle of giving. Even if you've got everything in the world financially, right? Like, I can't think of one person today that has, super wealth that wasn't given a chance, wasn't given a loan, wasn't given an inheritance, right? Like, it starts by giving. Giving's the first step, not the last step. Folks, that is story is king. Very good, Michael.
And that's why, that's why Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays.
Ditto.
There you go.
Ditto.
Amen.
Amen to that. And I'm looking forward to this Thanksgiving more than usual, by the way.